the meeting to order. So I see we have a couple of guests. Cheyenne, nice to see you. We have a special guest here, Catherine
Bowen.
Sent us a note about rodenticides and sort of their impact, and she has some information and she wanted to share and engage with us on like whether it's something we want to do something about. And it is a topic that has come up before. Oh, I see Robin, we have special guest Robin also, who had brought this up back when she was a committee member a few months ago. So before we get into the rest of our agenda stuff, I thought we could spend a few minutes talking about rodenticides and what we might want to think about or do about that topic. So
take it away.
all right.
Sure. Yeah. I've done a lot of research since that first email. I work in the veterinary field, and so I'm already passionate about animals, and I have a soft spot for wildlife. So I follow a lot of wildlife rehabs and wildlife veterinarians. And in the wildlife rehab world, the rat poison is causing a major issue. If you're not aware of what happens, you see these black boxes outside of buildings or homes, and there's a rodenticide in there that stops blood from clotting. So the rat or mouse will go in, eat it, and it could take 2 days or up to a week to die, and it'll go off and die somewhere purposely so it doesn't die around someone's home or business. And then an owl, a hawk, a fox, a coyote will pick it up, and the poison is still active. So that animal receives the poison and starts getting sick, bleeding out. I actually talked to the CEO of New England Wildlife down in Weymouth to get some more information and data. And there was a study out of Tufts in Grafton, the big wildlife hospital. It's a veterinary school. And the study of every single red-tailed hawk that came in, it was like over, I can look up the number for you, but it was a study to actually prove that they were exposed to this poison. The only way to prove it 100% is to get a tissue sample. It's a very expensive test. Most wildlife rehabs just they'll draw blood and it'll never clot. And they'll be like, well, probably rat poison, but you can't 100% say it is, but there's a good chance it is. But this doctor did perform a study on so many red-tailed hawks that came in for whatever reason, hit by car, stuck in a soccer net, and 100% had rat poison in their system. And actually 91% had more than one type of rat poison anti-clotting in their system. And so the issue is that these birds and owls eat, and foxes, thousands of mice and rats over a couple of months. They had an owl down in Weymouth that it brought a mouse or rat back to its nest and fed it to its babies, and they all died but one. The one that survived, it took months for its blood to start clotting again, and in that time it ate over 2,000 mice, he told me. So there's our natural, solution to the rat issue. I mean, I don't think in Wakefield there's a big rat issue. I know I've seen some black boxes in my neighborhood here and there. And so I've done a lot of research on this, and really rat poison, it doesn't solve the problem at all. It's just something sort of that makes people feel better. Like, I'm putting poison out, it's going to get rid of the problem, but it doesn't. It's actually been proven up in Vancouver. There was this big Vancouver rat project, lots of studies. You can look it up if you like. It's actually really interesting, where rats have like a social structure, believe it or not. They're actually pretty intelligent. And if you kill just one of them or a random one, it can make the problem worse. It changes their social structure and it'll change their breeding habits, and it really doesn't solve the issue. The best way to solve the issue is, what's their food source? What's their water source? Is there trash lying around? Is there an unkempt building or overgrown brush with trash? And really, that's the best way to treat the problem. And I think a lot of people in the public, unless they're in the animal world and are passionate about wildlife, just don't know this. One of my best friends that I used to work with at MSPCA just told me she had these rat poison boxes put out in her yard. And I was like, Alex, and I told her about all of this and she was horrified and she immediately had the company come take them away. So, I just wanted to spread some information. I have a lot more, but I know you have more of an agenda, to just put it in your head that it's really detrimental to wildlife, really. And I know that we have a bald eagle living at the lake. I saw it. I was very excited because I didn't know he was there. Arlington actually, I think, banned this because their bald eagle in that big cemetery. The name isn't coming to me. That big gorgeous cemetery. There was a pair of mating bald eagles that all us crazy birders would go out and photograph and look at. And the male was found kind of half dead in the cemetery a couple of years ago, and he did end up dying even after blood transfusion. So Arlington actually, I think they banned this type in their city. So I'm not saying, we need to do that. I don't know if there's any rat issues in Wakefield or anything, but I like to get the public to know about this issue in the wildlife world and what it's causing. Pretty bad. I know we have a lot of coyotes, and if they have mange, it's very likely that they've eaten rats and rat poison. It affects their immune system. And if you see a mangy coyote, there's probably a 99% chance he has rat poison in his system as well. So yeah, I could go on. I don't know if you want me to, but
That's really good information, and it's a topic that, as I mentioned, has come up here before. I think it's one that's, important to raise awareness about
Awareness,
and
yeah.
just have people, thinking about what other options are and just the impacts of, you're trying to solve one problem and
You're
creating
a much bigger one.
much bigger problems in the ecosystem.
Yeah.
So do you usually find the black boxes outside businesses or homes?
Both. Businesses a lot. Actually, for instance, there's a Whole Foods in like Woburn off Cambridge Road that I went by one day and they had probably at least 10 outside the perimeter, and there's all woods right behind them. I'm just like, come on. It broke my heart.
I mean, I've certainly seen them around the schools.
Yeah, and
Never even noticed them.
you'll see them now that I've told you. Like this size
Yeah.
black box with a little opening. And in the veterinary world, we've also had dogs and puppies get into it as well. I mean, if you catch it in time, they can do okay, but it's pretty expensive to treat.
Is there a volume like
Yeah,
if
so
if one mouse or rat eats it, kills them, but if a dog or a eagle eats it,
yeah,
is
they
like
have to
only
eat
one
probably
mouse
more than one. Yeah, probably more than one, depending on the size of the bird. Like say a bald eagle is actually really big. So it's not totally known. But it is more than one. It has to build up in their system for a hawk or an eagle to end up down on the ground, not able to fly. Yeah. But the thing is, this is what Zach told me, the CEO of New England Wildlife. He's like, so when you think about it, a hawk or an owl, it sees a dead rat, it's like, ooh, easy meal, and it picks it up and it gets the poison, and then it kind of feels like crap and it can't hunt as well. Oh, another dead rat, easy meal. And it just
Right.
kind of continues the cycle. He also told me about pest companies obviously fighting any legislation that's pending. I know that it's been submitted to the Senate to restrict the use and require better reporting of it. But pest control companies are fighting it because it's like guaranteed income for them. They just keep refilling the boxes, and that's more money, more money. So I know Somerville is working on a study with like a birth control for rats, which would kind of be the same thing. You go refill it because it only works for a certain time in the rats, but it could decrease populations and stuff like that. But
Didn't New York City do that? I feel like that is something that has been an
yeah,
option.
they in my deep research that I did, I saw that they spent like 30 million or something like that. And within a couple of years, it was just right back. There was no difference made.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is there like research into, so are I have two questions, I guess. Are these all typically are put out by an extermination
Yeah.
company, not like a
Yeah.
private? Yeah.
You can buy it probably online, but most of the time it's in pest control company. Yeah.
And then are there other like similar chemicals with a similar mechanism, but a shorter half-life where they?
Yeah. So there's they're called SGARs, second generation anticoagulant rodenticides. So there's 4, I can't pronounce them. I have the names of them
Okay.
that you want to avoid. It's like brodifacoum, bromadiolone. But there's like carbon monoxide bombs or traps that you can put in nests, which isn't very humane, but it's better than this, or the good old snap traps kind of can solve your problem, plugging holes. There's another one, I have the names of bromethylene or cholecalciferol, supposedly don't bioaccumulate and don't pass on to kind of apex predators. So there are other options out there.
Robin, I see your hand up.
Hi, Robin Greenberg, 3 Auburn Street, Wakefield. Thanks for bringing this issue up again. I unfortunately have a lot of experience with rats. My neighborhood does have a healthy colony, if that's the right word to say, of a group of rats. And we are residential. I mean, we're not far from 7-Eleven. So I do have 2 black boxes, but they are not full of poison. I actually am doing the birth control method
Oh.
for the rats. I
Wow.
buy it online, and a woman in New Hampshire makes it.
Oh,
It is the most active ingredient is cottonseed oil. I have no idea why that matters in terms of disrupting the reproduction of the rats, but it makes an impact to both male and female rats, so she claims. I feel like I saw less rats this year. You know, they go after my vegetables. I see them at my neighbor's feeders, so they dig around my foundation. So I have a healthy garden, so I do know that I make a nice habitat for them. But when I see holes, I fill them in. But so birth control is out there, and if people want to privately contact me, I don't want to promote anything without knowing that there's alternatives. But so yeah, they're here. I do have we get hawks in the neighborhood. I love that. I get very excited, hoping that they can get my rats that are poison free instead, because they
Yes.
will eat more than the poison will. But it's around. We learned last year that the DPW does not use poison in the buildings or the town facilities they manage, but any school buildings are managed differently, so they may not have that same policy. So I think there are ways to advocate for private homeowners, but I think also our public properties probably could use some advocacy and alternatives.
thank you for using birth control.
So I accidentally attended Lowell City. Well, I was intentionally attending Lowell City council meeting. I didn't realize that ahead of me on the agenda was their council vote on banning second generation roseticides. So I got to hear a very passionate public discussion on it. And so they did pass it. So city-owned facilities can't use it. But in that, a gardener spoke of it, and I learned it a little bit more, and then just happened to come across the business. So she said that it's helped with her garden. It's hard to know if it is, but I know my neighbors are providing some nice habitat too for the rats. But I like to think that I'm slowing them down at least, because they're eating it. They enjoy the little sausages, and so
Nice.
I hope
Thank
I'm
you.
slowing it down.
And Robin, I feel like when you brought this up a few months ago, you mentioned there was like a list of towns, or someone had a list of
Yes.
towns and cities that have done such bans.
Yes, somebody does.
Mhm.
So Mass Audubon is a huge local organization that is advocating for the ban of the second generation. So it might have been on their website because they are going to the state to promote the statewide ban. The Newhouse Animal Rescue in Chelmsford, who takes in a lot of mammals and birds that have been poisoned, she probably has the list because she Miss Newhouse is a huge, advocate and so forth. So she actually saw her speak at Lowell. So if people want a list of communities, I could do a quick search and find it. But there are some in the area. It's some people are thinking a statewide ban may be a faster way to like get the info out, but as you mentioned, maybe there are advocates against it, who run the businesses to sell the poison, so. It's
I
the,
know the bill to ban it is in committee. It actually made it to the governor's desk. But then their term ended. It was like
Yeah.
within a couple days, so it was resubmitted and it is kind of in committee in the state.
Oh, that's good. Would that ban, do you know, is that just for public buildings? Or is it like banning the use or sale of it?
I'm not 100% sure. I know that it would require the reporting and to restrict the use and ban it unless there's a public health emergency, then they would allow a 2-week window where you could use it.
yeah, that sounds familiar on what they were. Recognizing that there may be a need on a controlled basis.
Is there any action anyone would like to take on this topic now that it's come up again? We could do some educational work, we could do some advocacy.
Last time this came up, someone brought it up outside of our meeting, maybe in the paper, I don't remember, but they did say that if there are folks who want to advocate, that having conversations with the health department would be something that may be beneficial, to have their opinion on it. And I should note that when you file for a building permit in town that involves any demolition of a structure, they require you to have a rodent control plan, which I don't know if it requires, but it implies that you are putting out poison. When you take down structures, the rats tend to come out because they can be underground and so forth. So, that may be a place of asking question is, can you meet the requirements to get your building permit and not require poison or other ways to limit the requirements? Because if we ban it, but then there's this requirement for building permits, we don't want to be in conflict with other rules.
Yep, that makes sense.
So is it the health department that requires that rodent plan, or is it like the?
It was on the application for
Planning
my
permit.
building permit when I worked in my garage. So I don't know who originated that requirement, if it was through the building department or the health department, but I have a certificate. I mean, this has been over 10 years, but at the time, I had to hire a company to put out boxes for that moment.
Anyone feel passionate about it? Want to do a little asking around in health department and in town? Maybe building permit folks and explore this a little and see what we can learn.
I can start asking and see what is in place already, and like if there are regulations around the schools who would work on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a school with poison
Seems like not a
around the perimeter. I don't know.
reasonable place to start, right?
Yeah.
At least the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there'd also be dead rats around the perimeter if there are.
Yeah.
any. Yeah, and it's not a pretty sight to find one. I have found them that have eaten it.
Mm-hmm.
It's nasty. Yeah,
Imagine.
yeah.
So yeah, if you want to do a little digging around and understand sort of
Yeah.
the lay of the land in town about it, and then maybe we can either have some conversations with the right folks in town, or we can set up an educational session, like the ones we've done at the library. If part of it is about
Yeah,
Spreading
people just
over
don't
to-
know.
to-
Yeah,
homeowners about it.
yeah. And I know Jane Newhouse is very passionate and has done talks about it. Same thing with Zach Mertz down at New England Wildlife. So there's a couple people that could probably point us in the right direction or give the talks.
That'd be great. I think we've enjoyed in the past having, an expert come in and do a talk. I think in this case, it'd be good to get like a understanding of what the, you know, what's going on in town about it so that we can, you know, anything that we're sharing, we can share in the context of, you know, here's what you need to do or you cannot do or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Yeah.
So we don't confuse people, but
Yeah.
it could be
I
great to
haven't
spread some education.
Sign on my front lawn from Jane Newhouse. It says rat poison kills its way up the food chain, has like little critters on it. And multiple neighbors have stopped me and asked me like, what does that mean? And I tell them, and they're always like surprised. They're like, oh my God, I had no idea. So my neighbor recently, he did see a rat by his trash and he's like, have you seen any? And I'm like, no. And he's like, well, I saw your sign. I won't use it. It's like, thank you. So I think education is the number one.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. Any other questions for Catherine? Thank you so much for
Yeah.
being here and joining us and
Yeah.
sharing this education with us, and we'll keep you in the loop. Of
Yeah, definitely email me if anything. I'm very willing to help spread the word.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Turn off. No, don't turn off. Press what button? Press a button. Any button. Just press a button. Is this even the remote for the TV? Good.
Remote over there.
Ah. You were like, I wonder what button I was just pressing. This feels fraught. There are a lot of buttons. There we go. Okay. Technology today is not my friend. Cool. All right. Next on the agenda is the minutes from the September 10th meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes from September.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Tommy. All right, in alphabetical order, Christina,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Lily,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Tommy,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. Minutes approved. Thank you very much. Next we can talk through some of the ongoing initiatives. So first up is food rescue and compost, and I see that we have special guest Cheyenne here. Also, don't know if everyone received their water bill,
Yeah.
but did you see the lovely article in the DPW newsletter about if you haven't received your water bill, you should look for it. There's like a half a page all about students, called Students Making an Impact in the Lunchroom. And it shares all about the composting and food rescue that we've been doing in the schools. And I was just pleased as punch to see that.
Yeah. Lots of shout outs for our committee in there.
Yeah, yes, there's also a
Pumpkins.
big honking thing about the pumpkins. This is even remotely visible. Big honking thing about the pumpkins. This is not us, but the textiles, I mean, certainly in line with all of the things that we do, the textiles recycling box that are at the schools. Yeah, a lot of good sustainability stuff. Thanks, DPW. So any updates on the food rescue and composting program? Melissa, Cheyenne, anyone have?
We rolled it out at Dolbear a few weeks ago and it went well. Kids remembered from last year and there was some fifth graders assigned to put the food away at the end of lunch.
Probably fourth grade.
Fourth graders, sorry. And yeah, it was pretty smooth.
Great. And they're not composting yet. so-
Not yet.
Yeah, so on my end, as you probably heard, the Boys and Girls Club Wakefield has restarted picking up from all schools. Last year, they were picking up once a week, around Tuesday, Wednesday. And now John, the new director there at Wakefield has agreed to kind of pick up for both days. So basically the Tuesday, and then also the Thursday or Friday as a backup. I'm still doing QCs on Friday just to make sure that, you know, we're emptying out anything that's not picked up here and there, just to make sure that, you know, the fridge is compliant and the process is going well. I will be checking in with him to make sure that the, you know, how's the utilization going? Because that's a lot for one location to take up for all 4 schools and to use in Wakefield. So I'm encouraging them to split it with the Stoneham. Stoneham has not started picking up because they're understaffed, but I'm hoping that they will pick it up, you know, pick up that process once they're fully staffed. Because the Stoneham location do use that food much more, much better than the Wakefield location. So that's on the wish list, but it's definitely a big help. You know, that's allows to kind of be more sustainable. And you know, as you know, we got the $1,000 grant from the grassroots organization, and so that $1,000 will be used to kind of fund any kind of mileage reimbursement, you know, for members of the Boys and Girls Club, and also things like ice pack, replacing, you know, little parts here and there. For example, I had to kind of get like a container and some ice packs for the Boys and Girls Club to kind of, because they're changing the process where they're wheeling the food out onto the gymnasium so that the kids can easily access them instead of having to go to a fridge. That's an example. So yeah, that's where we are. The Greenwood did say that they are hoping that we can replace the fridge soon because our fridge has been there for a long time. It's very old. The temperature's not holding, so that's still on the wish list. We did get Dover a cooler cart. And so we're gonna see, hopefully that will change the ease of the students wheeling in the food, because the purple cooler, the handles are all now shaky and they don't collapse very well. That's where we're at, but overall, I think it's a big improvement in keeping it running, and hopefully that will continue in the years to come.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for all your work on getting that to be running without you being the person doing all of the back and forth on that. Certainly makes it a more sustainable, like longitudinally sustainable program. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll still need volunteer help, community member volunteer help to do the holiday pickups, you know, like, you know, usually that's on like a Friday around noontime where we need to kind of run to all the schools and do the big pickup. And then we still need volunteer to oversee the program, just kind of keep it running, any problems, have a point person to do that. So there's still definitely some need for that.
And I'll follow up offline about the fridge question, whether that's something that we can help with.
Yeah, can you, I'm sorry, where is this fridge again?
Yeah, so Jennifer, we have fridges are actually in all the schools, but right now the one in Greenwood is the one that's outdated.
Okay.
When we started the program, this is even before COVID, it was an old staff fridge, very old. There's broken shelves here and there, but we made it work. So it's at Greenwood, and the new lunch person said the temperature is not holding, so we've been keeping an eye on that.
Yeah, so one thing to know about fridges is that they are 90% more efficient than they were a few decades ago. And so you could be paying hundreds of dollars each month for a old fridge. It is actually, they can really cost a lot. So it's probably well worth it to get a new one. So yeah, I mean, I can talk with Tiana too about how we can best support that, because it seems like a reasonable request and good cause.
Yeah, absolutely. And Greenwood does do a very good job. They also are the only school right now that does more of the prepared foods.
Mhm.
So that's a big win, because, you know, we're getting like sandwiches, hot dogs, you know, pasta, the excess prepared stuff that the kids can really eat.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And no progress, Cheyenne, on the middle school, right? Like that's still waiting for someone to be enthusiastic about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dustin tried as well. There's hasn't been any support on that front. I did send him an email about the high school, because in speaking with the lunch person who used to work at the high school, she said there's definitely a need to do more of the prepared food. So I think the first step, even if they're not doing it at the school, we should definitely pitch for like a fridge, at least for the kitchen, to put the prepared food in for pickup.
I did follow up with the teacher runs the recycling club at the high school about composting there, and she talked to Tim O'Brien, who said they're kind of holding off on expenses for the old high school right now. So she's hoping, you know, once the new high school is built, we can start composting there.
Okay. That's,
That
Makes
may be a
sense.
reason why they're not, right, they don't want to bring a fridge in or anything like that to,
Yeah,
you know, add additional space.
yeah.
cool. Anything else? Any questions for Cheyenne? Cheyenne, definitely let us know before the next holiday break, if there's gonna be a big, bunch of stuff, we can usually gather a couple of us to do some.
Yeah, that'd be greatly appreciated. Tiana, unfortunately, because the Boys and Girls Club are now picking up, we are getting rid of the food count. But over the last couple, 2-3 years, the count has been consistent. So we're pretty confident of the average count.
Sounds good. Yeah, no, we don't need to continue counting. I think we can just say it's a good big lot of food and we're thrilled with it. How's that? Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us and popping in. And for all that you do to keep that program on. Next, is our usual events, recap and look ahead. So we had Town Day, on the Common a few weeks back, which was super fun. Rebecca was there with me. We had dozens of people come by
Yeah.
and engage about a variety of topics. People continue to be surprised about black plastic. That one is never gonna run out of steam, I think. We got a lot of great conversations about pollinator gardens.
Yeah.
Sent a couple of the pollinator garden signs home with people right from Town Day. And collected some other names. We've got a bunch of folks signed up to our email list. And we had, we made a poster of some questions about, you know, what are you concerned about around sustainability? How concerned are you? So some folks were engaging with that on a poster board.
Yeah, I'd say most interest was in like the pollinator garden idea. A lot of people that felt like they wanted more information. So we got a lot of people signing up hoping for an event at some point. So yeah.
Oh, and we promoted the pumpkin.
Yeah, that too.
Collection.
People like that one. Yeah.
So yeah, so Town Day was a hit. And then just last week, Stefan and Tommy and I were at the Gas and Light open house tabling, which was a real cute event. Not super well attended. I mean, my favorite bucket truck was there and the lightning was popping popcorn, and there's face painting and all sorts of fun stuff. So I don't know, speaking for myself, I had a good time. But we didn't see a ton of people, unlike Town Day. So, cool that they did it. I think, it was the folks who were there. My observation is the folks who came spent a lot of time and like actually talked with Gas and Light, and Abode was there and Next Zero was there and some of the other like partners in energy efficiency, in town. So I think it was deeply engaging for a small set of folks. Tommy, anything you'd add?
Yeah, I agree with what you said. Smaller attendance. We did talk to at least one woman who was interested in solar panels. So we kind of helped answer questions, and we're just kind of like, yeah, like if you want to do it, I recommend getting on it sooner than later. Like seriously, like now.
Yeah, so some more good conversations. We continue to have that same poster that we had at Town Day about, what are you concerned about? I'll try to tally up what people said. There wasn't a whole, nothing wildly new and insightful. But generally on the yes, no, a little, are you concerned about climate change? People are concerned. So, but they came to our table, so it's certainly not a random selection of people for that poll. So, yeah, I think we could do it again if Gas and Light does that event again next year. This was in honor of Public Power Week. We maybe don't need to have 3 people staffing the table next time. I wanted to also suggest there's an upcoming event. If anyone is interested, the Senior Center is having a Halloween fair thing where town groups like ours are welcome to have a table. It's on October 29th, which is a Wednesday, I believe, in the afternoon, 1 to 3. And they said any of our sort of group, if we wanted to come and have a table and talk with the folks who go to the Senior Center about our topics, spread the word. We're encouraged to have Halloween treats. We would be welcome to do so. I did not sign us up for that because I wasn't sure if anyone was excited to be there. So looking around to see if that sounds like something that anyone would want us to sign up to do. Educate them about black plastic.
It sounds like it's during the workday.
It is
So
during the
that's a
workday.
challenge.
It sounds like a no. We'll pass on that one. Next upcoming event is the pumpkin collection. Get excited. So that is on following Wednesday, November 5th. So please spread the word to everyone you know to bring their pumpkins in the morning of November 5th to any of the elementary schools, including the Doyle. Have them there by noon on the tarp. And we'll continue to promote that, but do share it with schools, groups, other folks, and anyone can bring pumpkins. It doesn't have to be.
You have a flyer.
school. I asked Jen McDonald, because I thought she was making one, but maybe she was just making it for this. We have last year's flyer, so I think we just need to update the date. Christina, if I send it to you, will you make it look nice with the new date?
Got it.
Thank you. It's gonna be one of your easiest graphic design challenges yet. Because I think all of the rest of the content is fine. We could almost just do it with a Sharpie. But so it'd be great if we got a couple of volunteers who are available during the day that afternoon in the 12 to 1:30 range to throw the pumpkins into the truck. It is a no joke physical exercise, come ready for work. This is a whole lot of pumpkins and you gotta throw them decently high into the top of the dump truck. Is anyone available at that sort of lunch hour on Wednesday, November 5th?
Yeah, I can help out.
I should be able to help too.
That was Lily.
Yeah.
Stephen? Stephen, were you raising your hand?
I was, yes, I can help.
Cool. Okay. Fiona, Melissa, Lily, Stephen. Fantastic. That ought to be a sufficient number of pumpkin chuckers.
Wait, sorry, my brain just registered. Did you say November 5th?
Yes.
Yeah, no, never mind, I can't.
Okay.
Wait a minute, I'm out of town. It's because I'd be anxious to come because I love throwing those pumpkins into the truck. Especially when they put the targets up. It's a good time.
Oh, yeah, the targets are really fun. Cool. All right. Well, I'll send a note around to our email list also and see if anyone else wants to join. Probably would be nice to have 1 or 2 others, but we
We
don't
also,
want any more than.
also need the tarps,
Yes.
so we can, I know last year Robin sent an email out to past CSC members and other volunteers that from the past about getting a tarp and helping out, so I can do that. You can do that or whoever.
Diane, were you gonna say something?
May I say something?
Yes, please.
Sorry, trying to get a raise hand button, but I don't see it. I have tarps, a couple tarps if you guys need to use it by then, and also I may be able to stop by and help out with pitching and
Wonderful.
tossing the pumpkins.
Wonderful, thank you. Yeah, if you want to send an email to like, the usual suspects rather than the full email list, that'd be great. Yeah, we can get some volunteers to, because yeah, like the putting the tarps out at early is a other necessary step. Cool, great, thank you. And I think we're gonna plan to use the same map schedule as last
Yeah,
year.
and I can send the new flyer out to the principals too.
That'd be great, thank you. And the PTOs, if you. Yeah, the PTO emails,
Or I could tell the principals to send to the PTOs.
good luck.
I
PTOs.
can try to find the.
Okay, if you
PTO.
can't find them, let me know, I'm sure I
Yeah.
can find them also. Cool, awesome, thank you, Melissa, for taking lead on that piece of it. And for the volunteers, like, do you have the map from last year with the
Yeah.
times of when we'll be at each of the schools? I think we should just plan to follow that same as last time. Okay. Beautiful, well, that'll be fun. Any other events on people's minds? Anything else folks know that's coming up? There's a litter pickup on November 1st, Saturday, November 1st. Not ours, we're, crew, but just spreading the word.
Where is it? Do you know? Or-
I think it's at the rail trail,
Okay.
like meet by the middle school end of the rail trail,
Mhm.
I think is the plan. But if you look up the Warrior Cleanup Crew on their sign up sheet. Back to the resilience topic. So on the pollinators, so we mentioned this briefly in relation to Town Day. But so the website about the pollinator gardens and rain gardens is up, as you've seen. The lawn signs came in. Thank you so much, Lily, for getting it to the printer, and thank you so much, Christina, for making it beautiful. So that those look really nice. I'm curious, has anyone seen them around town in your neighborhoods? On your commutes? Yes. So there are 14 out and about in the community at this point, I believe. And 3 more on my list to deliver this week. I was impeded by the rain. So that'll be almost all of them. I think that'll be three not yet spoken for. So I think the area of town that is underrepresented is the sort of Dolbear side of town. So if you have any friends in the Dolbear side of town with good pollinator gardens, encourage them to ask for a sign. We've got a few down by Greenwood Way. We just planted a couple in the Woodville High School neck of the woods. Got a bunch in sort of your neighborhood, the Walton neighborhood. Yeah, so they're around.
Yeah, and could I schedule like a swing by with a pollinator garden sign, and I could just take one with my little cedar box? Take like a photo, and then you can
Take
have
a
your sign
photo
back.
but not keep the sign.
Yeah, well, because it's my backyard. No sense. No one's gonna drive by my backyard.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But it might be good to know that a pollinator garden does not have to be your whole lawn or
Yeah,
even your front area. Yeah, you can have
Yeah.
a smaller one.
absolutely. Yeah, I love that idea. I can also, I'm trying to think if there are any that need to be delivered to, you could take one and then you can drop it
Oh,
off.
and then drop it off. I would be happy to do that.
There you go. Cool. I'll coordinate with you on that.
Sounds great.
Cool. Good. And then I think it had come up at some point in the past in talking about this. Do we want to plan for an event maybe early spring, that's like a how-to kind of educational session about planting pollinator friendly things and or creating rain gardens that we can like have someone who is knowledgeable come and share about it in time for people to plant their gardens.
Yeah, we should probably talk to the garden club and maybe try to work with them on something like that.
Who was? Did you
That was
reach out to-
me. They didn't get back to me. So I don't have any, it was them that didn't get back to me, right? Yeah. Because there were a couple friends, some friends of the lake
Mm.
folks did. I can reach out again to Garden Club. I don't know anyone personally. I don't know if anyone has, like a personal connection that might be more fruitful, but yes, it does seem like a natural. There was one woman that spoke to us at Town Day that had just moved here from Connecticut. Do you remember this? And she said she was a new member of the garden club here. So maybe if we can figure out who she is, we can send her a targeted message. But yeah, it certainly seems worthwhile. And I mean, there are many people that know about the topic and could probably even tell us how to best present on how to pollinator garden and whether rain garden should be and how should be integrated into that. But
Yeah.
there's definitely a lot of interest. I think that
Yeah, I'd say at Town Day, a bunch of
Mhm.
people who came and spoke to us at the table are interested in learning more, or, were interested to attend such an
Mhm.
event if we were to host one. So, yeah, let's do it. Does anyone want to take the lead on making such an event happen?
Well, that wouldn't be until what, like February, March?
Yeah, I would say we should probably aim for March. So maybe the step right now is just to try to find the sort of experts who would want to present about it.
yeah, I can follow up with that because I have those folks already on my contact list. And
Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and when we get closer to March, we'll maybe put this on the sort of January-ish agenda to do the, actually make an event, contact the library.
Mhm.
So that part is a great host.
Okay.
So I'm looking at their website, and in 2017, they did an event called
Okay.
Planting a Garden for Pollinators.
Library.
The garden club?
Yes.
Perfect.
Hey.
So maybe somebody remembers what and can access that information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was quite a while ago, though, so.
Cool. Good find. Yeah, and Friends of Lake Q might also be.
Mm-hmm. And I have Bree through her
Mhm.
perfect nature conservancy work would know people.
Yeah.
At least in the area. I think there's a lot of people that would have input into potential presenters. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great to find someone who is happy to just be the presenter and speak about it rather than us trying to like aggregate a bunch of information.
Yeah, absolutely.
Find someone who's not like I just throw some seeds that have, pictures of butterflies on the package. Someone who actually knows about this.
Mhm.
But there's been, I have to say, it's been really fun delivering the signs because a lot of the people that we've been delivering the signs to aren't the like usual suspects who are engaged in a lot of ESC things. Like delivering a sign to Robin, like Robin's involved, former ESC member, but like there are some folks that I have never met, haven't been at Town Day, just reached out on the email list. And we're so excited to talk about pollinator gardens, to talk about all the things they're planting and the bugs and birds they see. And did you know, so there's someone down by the Woodville area who has a small apple orchard in her yard that she's cultivating. So she likes the pollinators to be there because they pollinate the apples. So
That's awesome.
she's she's got like 4-year-old apple trees growing that made 3 apples this year. And she's excited for them to continue to,
Mhm.
so there's some real enthusiasm
Mhm.
on this topic.
That's great. Yeah. and get those people connected to one another too, I think is helpful.
Yeah.
That's what that part of the idea is for these kinds of events.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. On the topic still of pollinators or pollinator friendly gardens, the Warrior Cleanup Crew who does the litter pickups, they got a grant to plant some pollinator friendly plantings at some of the schools in town. So they're also interested in collaborating with us on some sort of event to do that, to do some planting. So Maggie is doing some legwork on finding some appropriate plants, and I was gonna talk with our friend Dennis, who came to last meeting, and check in with him on sort of the what and where of doing that. And obviously we wouldn't be planting anything until the spring because we've sort of missed that window for the fall. So this is probably like a maybe around Earth Day kind of event to do some plantings at a couple of the schools. I think probably not the high school because of the construction, but maybe the elementary schools would be good spots to find a few pollinators.
Yeah, that'd be a good activity for Earth Day.
So we'll sort of scheme more in that direction as we get closer to the spring. So our theme for the 25-26 school year is pollinators.
Maybe once the youth council gets back
Yeah.
in the picture, they would want to get involved in that too, have some input. Yeah.
Yeah, we certainly want to involve some students,
Mhm.
given that it's for the schools, and the grant was very specifically about schools,
Mm-hmm.
so. Cool, well, stay tuned on that. All right, that's all of our ongoing initiatives. How about some updates from our friendly liaisons? Stephen, any news from the school committee?
I cannot think of anything ESC related.
Do we know if, well, maybe this is a Jen question, do we know if the Galvin is, the solar is up and running?
Good question. I don't know.
Wasn't Anne saying that
Ann-
there was some
So when we met with
issues?
Ann shortly before this most recent holiday weekend, it was not up and running and she was foot stamping mad about it. But there was the intent that over this weekend, since it was a holiday weekend, that it would get stood up. But she is not here to tell us whether that was successful or not.
Could have been not
Bad
possible,
weather.
but yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, well. I guess we'll find out in the future. All right, so nothing else from Stephen on school committee. Stephen, if you have any ways of helping promote the pumpkin drop, feel free to nudge in that direction also, since it is at the schools.
Yeah, we can mention it. Let me know if you have any trouble reaching out to PTOs. Because I tend to have their emails as well.
I mean, if you want to email them, we can send you the flyer.
Sure.
Cool.
Great. And we don't have a youth council person yet, and Anne is not here for the DPW. Other than I'll just show one more time what a lovely newsletter they wrote and nice things they wrote about stuff they were doing. So thank you DPW for that. Is there any other DPW?
Just that they're working on a new recycling and trash contract for 2027.
Yes.
And she's looking at different options for town provided recycling bins that are big, and she's looking at all kinds of other recycling options, and so
And we put a strong encouragement that the cardboard recycling should be available year round. We'll continue to nudge on that. It's a very successful dumpster, so Cool, gosh, we don't have town council again. But we did reschedule to an uncommon day of the week, so maybe that was our challenge. Jen, any updates from Gas and Light?
You had provided the update on the um Public Power Week event. There's not really much else to report on the heat pump or rate for heat pump owners. It's moving along. We reviewed a second iteration of it, second draft, and are kind of in final review mode. The steps, if it's approved by the board, is that it will go to a public hearing because it's a new rate. And I believe the intent is if it passes and that it'll go to hearing pretty quickly and that it would be up and running quickly so people can take advantage of that rate this winter. So I'm not sure of the exact timing, but we are definitely trying to move it forward if there's broad agreement that it should be moved forward. So that's where we are on that. And our next board meeting is going to be, it actually just changed. Thursday, November 6th, or no, yes, Thursday, November 6th, at 6:30. So that's when we'll be talking about it again. And talking about what next steps, we'll be taking on it. So that's the quick update on that. Are there questions before I move on? I know there was a lot of good discussion the last time we talked about this. Okay, I'm not hearing any. The only other quick update is that we forgot to mention this last month, actually. We've done a lot of work. I shouldn't say we because I wasn't involved. There has been a lot of good work done by a lot of people on our website. And after collecting feedback and getting really great feedback from a smaller group of folks, WMGLD has updated the website. It looks a lot better. It's much easier to navigate. So I just wanted to let you know that if you struggled with it before, hopefully those issues have been fixed. If they have not been fixed, please let me know. And I'd be happy to relay that additional feedback to WMGLD. And this is not necessarily new, but I always like to tell people there is an outage map. So if you have an outage and there are two avenues you have. You can certainly call the department and notify them, but you can also look at the outage map to see if they are already aware and working on the issue. And that's up 24/7. So if your phone happens to still be working during this outage, then yes, you can, or your internet, then you can access online as well.
Good to know.
All right, those are my updates.
Thank you. Couple other items. So, one matter not anticipated, we got an email to the ESC email list from a resident who has noticed quite a bit of non-compliance with the plastic ban bylaw and the don't give me straws if I didn't ask for it. Don't give me cutlery if I didn't ask for it. Don't use styrofoam. Like a number of restaurants and food places in town are not following that, and they had started to reach out through the form to do the report someone being non-compliant, and then actually realized actually it's quite a number of them, and sent us a list. So I was gonna talk with the health department is the group that is supposed to.
Erin is monitoring that form.
Erin is.
Yeah.
Has she responded? I mean, you've done some.
She's responded to me, yeah.
Okay, all right. So given the length of the list that this person sent, I was gonna send that to Erin and just say, are we due for a broader reminder campaign to restaurants? Like there might be just enough folks who have forgotten about this that need a reminder.
Surprised there's that many. I haven't noticed a ton, but maybe she goes to more places than I do.
Yeah. So I wanted to bring that up in case folks have either ideas on this, on, you know, whether we want to be involved in that reminder or just leave it in Erin's capable hands. Erin Kukinda, the Economic Development Director, is that her title? So she's, you know, the person who helps businesses in town with businessy things and monitors the form about, you know, folks not complying. So folks, if there's anyone who either wanted to be more engaged in that or help with it in some way, figured I would run it by y'all first.
Yeah, I mean, I can help out. I've helped out before, so.
When was the bylaw passed? Is it-
4 years ago.
So maybe there's like a knowledge gap too, like new businesses, maybe people could be better.
Well, I know that Erin told me like once new businesses are like coming into town that she tells them about all
Mhm.
the rules of that kind
Mhm.
of thing. So like when that new Mexican taco place opened, like and she saw they were
Mm.
using the wrong thing, she corrected
Mhm.
it. So
Mhm.
I don't know.
I think it's one of those that just needs, you know, reminders of care and feeding from time to time. So, I'll pass the list on to you if you wanna.
Sure.
And I guess if there are other places, like while we're doing a list, if anyone has noticed places recently who are not complying, I guess shoot that over to Melissa so that she can have, you know, as long a list as relevant. And then any other, matters not anticipated? For our next meeting, I'm curious, how do folks feel about, so now we've had a special guest, twice now, we had, Dennis, the tree director,
Morton.
tree warden, thank you. And then, today Catherine about, rodenticides. Are folks liking having a special guest come and share some information? We ask them some questions. Is this a welcome thing in our meetings? Because if it is, I have some other guests that we might recommend.
Yeah, I think it's useful and provides education for issues we may not know about.
It may actually also draw people that might not otherwise come to ESC meetings in if there was a particular topic of interest.
Yeah. In talking with Anne about some of the things that are sort of on our, you know, plate of interest topics, she suggested that Bill Renault, who is the town engineer, might be a good one to talk with, to bring in, because he's the one who could help pollinator-friendly plantings be selected more often in town-owned pieces of land, or, you know, when changes are being made, when, you know, to roadways and sidewalks and such. So he was a candidate to bring in. Also Andrew, and I didn't actually write down his last name, in the DPW who manages the fleet, might be someone that we could bring in to talk about the vehicles and what vehicles they're thinking they could move towards EVs in the future, just sort of how they think about vehicle purchases, replacements, maintenance, that kind of thing. So those were two possible guests. I'm curious if folks have others.
Would it be possible to invite someone as we're moving into the winter? You know, like sometimes when you get the like mass save audits, people show up at your house and they're like, hey, here are some things you can do to like better insulate your house. Do they have people that could come and chat about that?
About better insulating your house?
Yeah, like what steps you might take.
Well, Lynn,
So
yeah.
by they, are you, I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
I guess I'm
Are you-
saying like, well, I remember when we did the mass save audit, somebody came to our house and I mean, we have, you know, a couple of the things we're already done, but it's almost like they have a checklist. So it seems to me like, because we partner with them from like a gas and light perspective, right? And
Yeah, so we don't partner with Math Save as a muni. We have a different partner, but
it
yeah,
was
there's a
probably that partner. My
yes,
brain says Mass Save. It's
there's a
probably whoever you're
program.
saying.
Yeah, there's a program that we have called Next Zero that we certainly can have someone come and speak on that. That's certainly an option. We can have someone speak from a boat on heat pumps. We can have, I'm thinking at some point it might be helpful to have, if this heat pump rate goes into effect, we're certainly going to have a community session on that. Yeah, so there's a lot of potential options. And the other thing is that we do typically each winter, which is really the most important thing for a lot of people, is provide the assistance, information on where to get assistance for heating if you are a low income customer, or if you're lower income or need actual financial support. So we have that as well.
And so are those all programs that Gas and Light puts on?
Yes. Yes.
Right. I mean, that sounds great, and we should certainly cross promote those. I don't think we have to do that additionally if Gas and Light is already doing those sessions. But yeah, if Next Zero was going to do one through Gas and Light about insulation best practices, I think that'd be great for us to attend, promote, learn about.
Yeah, I mean, I can take it back, and the idea of like installation best practices. I know that WMGLD has a goal of holding like 2 information sessions for customers each year. So certainly if that is a topic of interest, we are happy to provide education on it. But yeah, I mean, I think one thing is certainly getting the audit, because that person can then kind of guide the customer as to where they have opportunity. Okay, well, I'll take that back and get back to you guys on it.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other special guests folks would be interested in?
I wonder if it would be helpful to hear from, I forget what their name is exactly, but the pedestrian and bike
Safe Streets.
Safe Streets, yes, thank you. I was just thinking when you're talking about the engineer too, it sounds like they have some input into traffic in Wakefield, and I would be helpful to complement that too with other efforts that are going on to make Wakefield more pedestrian and bike safe, and see how we can cross promote and support their efforts.
That's a great idea. Yeah. Actually, they have their next meeting. They don't have like big public meetings all that often, but they have one coming up on October 29th in the evening, in person at the Americal the Civic Center. So if folks are interested in that, that's at 6:30. 6 if you would like light refreshments to talk about their programs and opportunities. So feel free to join them for that. But then, yeah, that would be a great guest to hear about what they're doing. I also talked with Conservation Commission at Town Day, or a member of the Conservation Commission at Town Day, and suggested that they could come to one of our meetings sometime as well, to share about what they're working on. They're doing their wetlands bylaw, not for the fall town meeting, but for the spring town meeting. And they've been doing some public sessions over the last few weeks, and I think there's one more later in October, to gather input on the proposed wetlands bylaw. But then once they have that sort of gearing up toward the spring meeting, I suggested if they wanted to come by and tell us about it and get, our take or our help letting folks know that this topic is on the agenda for the spring meeting.
Yeah, I mean, we can even invite like the conservation agent for the town. because they do way more things.
All right, well, I will reach out to some of these folks and see if we can get one on the books for the next meeting. And for our usual cadence, the next meeting would be on Thursday, November 13th in the evening. How does that look for folks from a conflict perspective? Thank you all again, by the way, for adjusting for this week, given the conflicts that came up from last week. November 13th look okay to folks?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, great. We'll plan for that. I think that's all. Does anyone has anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank
Second.
Thank you, Rebecca. Christina,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Lily,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Tommy,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much. See you next month.